So, I was browsing in my parents' room and I came across their will. That's right, their will. I got curious, and you could say curiosity killed the cat, because when I peeled back those papers, my eyes did not deceive me. It was my sister. She was getting everything, and I'm gonna get to the bottom of it why I'm getting nothing. Recently, I was helping my parents with doing a bit of late spring cleaning and throwing a lot of old rubbish out when I came across what I assume is the most recent copy of their will, dated June 2012. I did not mean to look at it, but I am moved, and I noticed in the beneficiary section on the front, only my sister was listed. Then I decided to have a read through it. I'm not in it at all. My sister is listed as the sole beneficiary. She will get the house, life insurance policy, savings, car, absolutely everything. They aren't rich people by any means, but due to the way property prices have risen since they bought their house in the 80s, this probably comes to a total of about 500,000 euros. They've always had a thing with favoring my sister a bit more than me, giving her extra attention and stuff, but I've never really minded. She's a bit of a screw-up, and if I'm honest, she has needed the extra attention. I'm not going to lie to either in my financial situation. It's a lot better than my parents. I'm engaged, and together me and my partner make about $45,000 a year. She's a single parent of 2 children. Deadbeat father, no child support, earning about $16,000 a year. I know that is a lot of a gap, and I would understand if they let her get a greater share to help her move out or something. Leaving me with nothing just seems too harsh. Whilst me and my fiancé do earn more, we aren't exactly rolling in money, and even if they had only left me 20%, it would have still been more than enough to help me start to buy a house. Obviously, this is all hypothetical, as they are both perfectly healthy and have a long time in them yet. It just seems harsh that if they were to die tomorrow, my sister would be set, whilst I'd be left with nothing. Am I right to be angry about this? Should I confront them about it or no? I know it's not my money at all, but she is a terrible daughter to them. Over the years, she's lied to them, stole money from them and me, and had to be bailed out and fines paid for drug charges. She barely even finished school as well, so while she's financially worse off, it's only because she has made herself so. On the other hand, I visit them all the time, help them out whenever they ask, went to university, which they've always wanted me to do, and by the way, I paid for 100% myself with no help. It just seems like they're punishing me and rewarding her for being such a failure. Additional info. With me, they've always had a parenting style of letting me make my own decision. If I wanted something, I was expected to do chores, get a job to pay for it. I don't mind at all, it's made me responsible. My sister, on the other hand, they've always bought what she wanted and never really expected as much from her as me. What's up guys, Mr. Reddito here. I hope you're enjoying your day. I have 2 stories for you today, so don't worry, there's more content to come. However, there is an update for this first post. Don't forget to smash that subscribe button if you're not subscribed to the channel, as it helps support me immensely. And let's get right into your update. Hello all, thank you for your response. I think the very vast majority of you understood what I was upset about, with only a few idiots thinking that it was about money rather than validation of what I've always believed, that they prefer my sister. I wanted to get this sorted out as soon as possible for booking the afternoon off work, and went around to see them and learn 2 new things about myself from my parents. Number 1, I was an accident. Apparently, after my sister, my mom had a miscarriage and they decided not to try again. Then a year later, along pops me. Because, well, I was unplanned, they had not really gone through their finances. So for about a year and a half, my dad had to work 2 jobs, and has always felt that I made him miss out on my sister growing up. And that because he rarely saw me, he never really connected with me. As for my mom, the previous miscarriage had put her off of having children. She was content with her little girl, and by then, age 39, was quite happy to be done having children. And number 2, they're disappointed with me. They don't like my fiance. They don't like that I live a 40-minute drive away, and they're sad that I chose accountancy instead of doing a law degree. But most of all, they're disappointed that I'm not closer to my sister. That is friends with a girl who spent most her life bullying me, who has treated them appallingly, who stole money from them regularly until she moved out, and who I was persuaded to lend 2,000 euros of my savings for university so she could clear some debt. She never paid that back, and I had to get into a lot of debt myself to get through my final year. It's not even like I'm a horrible person to my sister now. I love my nieces and nephews and spoil them all the time for their sake. And I try to help them out from time to time with money and for bills. Apparently, this is why I am not in the will, and I've never been except when I was younger, where custody of me would have been given to my aunts until 18. They have, quote, never really seen me as their real son. I was always a bit too distant and self-reliant, and apparently, quote, made it easy for them to love my sister more. I'm not down to get anything, as they don't really view me as part of the family. Me going away for 3 years to university made it worse, but it's something that they've always felt. They asked me if I felt that it's wrong, what I did, and I said if I could persuade them otherwise, would they change it somehow? My sister would still be the main beneficiary, but I would get something from them. I know you guys will probably be disappointed with me for the response, but I just left. I told them I did not care about the money at all, and if they cannot see me as a son, then I no longer see them as my parents. Guys, I found an update for this story 10 years later. Let's read it. It was in the comment section. It's crazy that I just found this. I'm now 33. Happily married, 2 beautiful daughters, and running my own business that I started during COVID lockdown, which has basically helped us become fully financially independent. 0 contact with my parents or sister these past 11 years. Parents are still alive as a result of insane house price increases in the UK. They're probably worth close to €1 million now, and I'm fairly certain my sister is waiting for them to die. From what I've heard from other people, her behavior improved. No more stealing, etc., but she's broke, and in a dead-end job because she has virtually no qualifications to get anything better, and no drive to improve. The only person I'm in any contact with is my nephew, my sister's son. He's nothing like his mother, absolutely brilliant, and currently at university, studying math, and my wife and I help him with his living expenses, because he would not have been able to go without it, and to be honest, with his mind, it would be a waste. Guys, that's a crazy update. A 10-year later update. Well, I'm glad it worked out for OP. Let me know your opinions on this story and the update we found, and we're going to turn our attention to the final story. I repeat, I hate my special needs sister, and I'm done with her. When my younger sister was born, she almost died from hypoxia. She suffered severe brain damage to the point where doctors doubted she would survive. She's survived 16 years now. However, she's about as close to brain dead as a living person can get. She can't move, she can't communicate, she can't eat or drink on her own. She has no control over her bowels, so she has to wear diapers. She'll never get better, and she'll never live a normal life. Despite that, my mother has ruined our family hoping she'll have a miracle and recover. My mother has spent thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars on my sister. Everything from wheelchairs to doctor visits. We had to live in a 1-bedroom apartment for 11 years because my mother spent all the money she made on my sister. Nothing she bought made any difference. She will always be a drooling mess. Since my mother believes she'll get better, she made me treat her like she was a real sister. I lost all my friends growing up because Mom made me take her everywhere I went. If I told my mom that I was going to the park, she would say, "Oh, a park? That sounds like something Jess would like to take. Go take her with you." Not once did she stop to think about how absurd she sounded talking to her. One time, my mom took her to a movie theater. They made it barely 30 minutes to the movie before staff kicked her out because my sister was making so much noise, coughing and choking on her saliva. Despite all this, I somewhat tolerated my sister. Until a few hours ago. I mentioned to my mother that I planned to date with a girl I met at work. My mom said, "That sounds like fun, but I'm having coffee with a friend from college, so can you take care of Jess while I'm gone?" I told her that I could not because of my date, and suggested that she hires a babysitter. My mother then said that I should take her with me. I exploded. I just exploded. I told her how stupid she was for suggesting such a thing. Bring my severely disabled, crippled sister along with me on a date with a girl because you're too lazy to hire a sitter? How crazy are you to think that's a good idea? Every moment of my life has been about Jess. I'm not supposed to have a career or a family or my own because I need to take care of Jess when my mom dies. My mom even discouraged me from going to college because then I would not be able to take care of her. I told her how much damage she's done to the family because of my sister. We struggled financially my entire life, not because mom's low income, oh no, but because she spent all our money on Jess. We drove a crappy 1996 Subaru Outback that had a bumper falling off for years, and my mom, quote, could not afford to buy a new vehicle. But she had no problem selling thousands to see a specialist doctor who will say the same thing every doctor said. My sister is a glitch. She's not supposed to be here. She'll never live a normal life, and there's no reason she should not be put in a home. I'm just so frustrated right now. I'm thinking about cutting ties with her and reconnecting with my father. My dad divorced her once he realized that the rest of his life was going to be taking care of Jess. I can't fault him. My mom forbid me from contacting him, but he's not the bad guy here. Hey guys, Mr. Reddito here. So this is a rather emotional story. There is 2 updates for it, but let me know in the comment section exactly what you would do if you were in OP's position because, well, it's a tough one. Here's update number 1. Thank you all for your kind words. I realize now that my emotions should be placed towards my mother instead of my sister. As for everyone who says I should contact my father, well, that's my plan. But he's not easy to reach. I haven't spoken to him or seen him for a very long time, and he lives across the country. I don't have any way to get his number or email addresses, so I'm looking through Facebook and Instagram to see if he may have an account I can message. I also don't have anyone on his side of the family who I can ask to get in touch. As for my living situation, I'm still living at home. I plan to stay for a little while longer until I've saved enough to afford an apartment or enlist in the Navy. I work part-time while I'm in the community college, so I'm not making much. I hope I'll have another update in the near future, and I hope things get better. Alright guys, Mr. Reddito here. This is the final update, but I have to warn you. There's a trigger warning. This post is extremely sad, emotional, and there's death involved. If you don't want to hear that, click off of the video because I'll tell you right now it's pretty emotional. Here it is. My mom is dead. I came home to a bunch of police cars all around my house. I found out my mom hung herself, and a neighbor saw her hanging from the window. I didn't get a look at her, and I'm glad I didn't. I don't think I could handle seeing anyone like that. She seemed stressed a couple days before, but I did not expect this. Right now, plans are getting set to place Jess in a home. She'll have around-the-clock care, and I'm not sure what stage of grief I'm at right now. I have a place to stay for a while, and I'm getting my finances in place. I miss my mom. She wasn't a good mom, but she was my mom. I tried reaching out to my father through family members on his side. Well, to make a long story short, He basically said that he's moved on from us, and that he did not want me intruding on his new family. Pretty much what I expected. But it still hurt to hear my own father say he wants to forget me. I'm staying at a friend's house now. I'm working and doing school. Things are rough, but I'm pushing through. Thanks for all the wishes. Well guys, that one was a hard one to read. There's 2 comments that I want to go over before we wrap the video up. Gosh, this one is the most brutal ones in a while. Like, I get some are heartbreaking, but this one was just brutal. Everything was terrible as possible from start to finish. OP neglected by one parent and abandoned by the other. The sister serving a torturous life sentence in her own body. The mother drowning in depression and denial. Just terrible. Now OP essentially orphaned because his dad ducking sucks. Guys, let me know what you thought of this story. And that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next one.